Hello and welcome to part 5 of our Colt starting series. We previously covered leading and sending, flexion, steering, and ground driving with Mustang Colt Chance. I'm sure you've noticed from the helmet that I'm actually getting on his back today. Luckily for Chance, he's had a year to get used to me standing above him and leaning over him, so we won't have to spend so much time doing so now. I do want to make sure he's comfortable with me standing on the mounting block before progressing. Having him flex his neck and checking for tension or bracing is one of the ways I assess his comfort level. I will spend a lot of time using positive reinforcement at the mounting block to reward him for standing calmly. Chance loves to be scratched, so that's our reward of choice. From there, I progress to swinging my leg up onto his back, but not putting any weight on him yet. I just want him to see and feel my leg coming across his back. If he were at all sensitive to being touched here, he would not be ready for this step, so keep that in mind. He's slightly concerned, which is normal and expected because he has no idea what we're doing yet. I'm going to ask him to flex back to the left before I remove my leg. I will not hold him in this position or restrain him, and he's allowed to move if he wants to, but I do not want to reinforce that behavior. I could tell from the tension in his neck that he was a little worried, so I step down and reassure him that I have no ill intentions with this exercise. I'm going to repeat this many times. Leg, release, praise. Next, I will get him used to having a small amount of pressure across his back, as well as having him see most of me back there. I keep my arms moving and touching his right flank to prepare him for my leg to be there. He's very curious about what I'm doing, and I love that. If you can release pressure on a moment of curiosity, you're as good as gold. He's flexing pretty softly, so I know we can do a little more without going over threshold. Now I'm resting my foot on his croup and knee on his back. Some people are afraid of kicking their horse in the butt when mounting. Get them used to feeling a boot back there now so it will never be a problem later. I want him to be calm and comfortable no matter where I'm touching him. Now is the time to see how far I can go before reaching his limit. He gets a little worried, but he's not upset, just paying attention. He's watching the rope pretty intently. My goal here is to associate the movement of the rope with scratching and grooming so that he believes this to be a friendly gesture, which will transition into me moving around on his back, being a friendly gesture. This part just takes lots of repetition. Pressure, release. Pressure, release. Another flex test, and he's not stiff at all. He has relaxed and is starting to get bored with the previous exercise, which is my clue that he has decided he doesn't have to be afraid of what I'm doing. Now I can progress to putting more weight on his back. I'm leaning into him and putting moderate downward pressure, but not putting all my weight just yet. I also start normalizing my gestures by repetitively running up the mounting block, swinging a leg over, applying slight weight, swinging off, and jumping down. I make sure I'm not asking him to do anything so that this movement remains neutral in his mind. Here's the first moment I put all my weight on him, for just a split second. It's barely enough for him to notice, but I want to get him moving afterwards to prevent any buildup of tension. He seems to be doing okay mentally, but if he was over threshold at this point, I would call it a day and give him a break. Remember, anytime he's standing calmly at the block, I'm going to reinforce it with praise, scratching, and grooming. I want him to first associate the block with positive interaction, and second with mounting. Now we are going to work on duration and increase the amount of time he can tolerate me being on his back. I begin with just light pressure and not my full weight. You want to work on one thing at a time and progress incrementally when the horse is comfortable. It doesn't take long at all for him to be okay with a second or two of full weight. One second. Two seconds. 4 seconds. And 6 seconds. I mention boredom a lot in my videos, and another way to explain what I'm looking for and why it is a good thing is that your horse is so not concerned or afraid of what you're doing that he's getting distracted or even daydreaming. You probably noticed that up until now, Chance's ears have been turned back to me. He was focused on me, on his back, and interested in what I was doing on him. Now his head is more relaxed, his ears are forward. He's looking out over the pasture, probably wondering what the other horses are doing. If you go from fear to curiosity to boredom, you know you're ready to move forward and make things a little more interesting for the horse. I do want to make 100% certain I have his attention back before doing anything though, so I don't surprise him. Next, I lay across him with all my weight and say, "It looks like you hunted me." Disney movie references are essential to keep these young colts interested. I flop and flail around a little, and he's mostly unfazed by it. Preparing to mount again, I will flex him around so I can see the moment he tenses. He's staying very relaxed when I get on him and begins to investigate me. He's in the curious stage. Now's the time to get him really thinking that this is all boring, so I will stay on him much longer next time. I should note that when I get on him, I have both hands on his withers. You want this to be your pivot point so that you are balanced over the horse's center of gravity. If something were to go wrong during mounting, I can easily swing back off. When using a saddle, most everyone's first instinct is to hold the horn with one hand and the cantle with the other. I have learned that this will throw off your balance and you will lose that center of gravity when you have to move your hand off the cantle to swing your leg over. I find this extremely important when working with a horse who's never been ridden before. You want that balanced entrance and easy exit. So that was nearly 30 seconds of full weight without causing any stress to the horse. After a small break to praise and assure him that he's doing the right thing, I get right back on for another 30 seconds. I'm not doing much besides breathing calmly and relaxing so that he does the same. You could see the gears turning in his mind. Ear, nose, and mouth movements tell me that he's present and relaxed. This is not a shutdown horse. This is trust. I want him to become very unconcerned with my being on his back before I ask him to take a few steps. If he's bored with me sitting on him, he won't be worrying about more than one thing at a time. If this process seems slow, it's because it is, and it should be. I do not want to overwhelm or scare him. Now I have gotten on enough that he knows what to expect. I did not ask him to flex here. He did this on his own to look at me better. He's relaxed, but attentive, which is exactly what I want. I can now begin to move around a little more, scratch him, and allow him the freedom to look at me with either eye. I continue to keep my breathing slow and calm, and relax my muscles. Horses are very in tune with how you are feeling, so calm rider, calm horse. An excited rider will make for an exciting ride. I always know where my mounting block is in case I notice him getting worried. If he starts to think about getting scared, I want to be able to get off calmly before he goes over threshold into flight mode. You can notice small movements of his mouth which indicate that he's close to threshold, but trending towards relaxation. If he goes over threshold, you will see his face tense up, his jaw brace, and there will be no nose or mouth or lip movement until you see a big lick and chew to signal that he came back out of flight mode. They lick because they stop producing saliva when they are frightened or stressed, a function of the sympathetic nervous system. He's licking a little while I'm still on him, so he's decided he does not need to transition fully to flight mode. Because he was teetering on that line a little, I know it's time to get off and call it a day. Your horse will appreciate it when you notice and listen to what he's telling you. That was a good solid 80 seconds of my full weight. He handled it like a pro, and I'm confident he will only improve with time. From here, we will be able to progress to mounting with a saddle and taking a few steps. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out other videos in the series if you missed them. I address some very important points in these videos that will help pull this all together in the end. See you in the next one.